Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's short video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I do hope your day is going way better than fantastic. And your journey to self-betterment is going way better than fantastic as well. Today, before I start this short video, I wanted to say thank you all for the great comments. And some of them are prompting me to make videos talking about such things regarding a variety of topics. One being forgiveness. As one of you left a very interesting and good comment that I think it's worth exploring. As I actually came across a case that will give us a great reason to talk about that topic. So thank you all. Keep the comments coming. I appreciate you all. Plus I have other news stories and topics that I want to talk about. It's just been a busy week here in cartoon world. I'm sure you know how it can go sometimes. So I appreciate your understanding. But with that said, I wanted to just make a short video to address something I mentioned in my last video. Regarding the two teens that ran down that man riding his bike in Las Vegas. And as a result ending his life sadly. Well, just from the video. Because these teens took video of them ramming on purpose into the back of this man on his bike while in a stolen Hyundai. And I'm not sure how things are in other parts of the world. But in the West, there has been a big trend with lots of teens and other people stealing Kias and Hyundais because apparently they can just use an app to easily steal these cars. So a great many of these teens steal these cars for joy rides. And to also use these cars to commit even more serious crimes while in them. You have the two types of youngsters. One thinking it's a funny thing to do. And others with more criminal intent. When in reality all of it is evil and wrong. However, I'm just pointing out. Some think they are going to stupidly go joyriding and others think they are going to use the car in a robbery. Well, it turns out that besides hitting this man on his bike that lost his life, they hit another man that survived. And they sideswiped a couple of cars too. But when I listened to the audio from the video, even though the passenger was laughing and going along with things, I got a feeling that he was a wannabe tough kid that got mixed up with a real tough kid. And this isn't making excuses for this kid at all. Not at all. Because at the end of the day, he was part of something evil that harmed some people. And for one man and his family it cost an innocent man his life. So whatever they do to these kids, I think most will agree. They deserve it. But as I mentioned, sometimes these real legit psychopaths will seek out certain people to be their friend. And they will gain their trust. And then when the moment is right, when they've tested the waters that this other person won't say no. And they are just going with things even when they don't want to. Because they don't want to seem like they aren't down or they aren't hard. Once they know they have them in this obligated state, they will then bring them along for something they know for a fact they are doomed to get into trouble. Because you see, there are some of these psychopaths that will say point blank that their life goal is to go to prison. No joke. But here's the thing. These evil types don't just like to get you to cheat on your husband or wife. Or to throw away your family. Especially with these younger people. They love to get you wrapped up into something serious you can't get out of. Much like these two did with ending the life of an innocent man. Because these narcissists and psychopaths are just like Satan their daddy. And they want to bring as many people down with them as they can. Because misery loves company. Well, they finally showed these two teens in court. The driver, a 17-year-old, has a big tattoo on his face. With a cold and uninterested look on his face, like he wasn't scared and like he could care less. And when his mother was interviewed outside, She said she didn't know what happened to her son. And all I can say to that is, yeah right. Yeah right. And it's like I've said before. Many of these toxic parents, especially the toxic mother, will on purpose raise their children this way. So when they do something horrible they can gain narcissistic supply and they are the victim of it all. They literally raise their children to become an evil wind-up toy, set to go off at any moment. All for the sake of living off of the misery their child caused. But then they showed the passenger. They showed the passenger. When they were reading off official statements to him in court, the look on his face was quite different than his so-called friend that was driving. He kept looking down. And I don't want to say he looked like he was sorry. I don't want to say that. But he had a look on his face like he screwed up royally bad. And if he could roll back the clock and tell his so-called friend that he was too busy to hang out, he would have done it. You see, there was a story I was going to talk about where this 19-year-old was recently sentenced for shooting at kids younger than himself because they wouldn't participate in a crime. Now I don't think he, the passenger, was threatened. Not at all. It just appeared he thought Mr. Tattoo Face was cool and edgy. And he was doing stuff with Mr. Tattoo Face he knew was wrong. And he probably wanted to say no to. Because he likely felt obligated and didn't want to appear to not be so-called down and hard as you know what. And that's how narcissists and psychopaths get you. No matter if they are trying to get you to throw away your marriage or throw away your freedom. They pretend to be your best friend. They might even protect you in certain circumstances. And then little by little they bring you around things and people you have no business being around. This is why I tell especially you ladies to be careful of this with new lady friends you might make. Because I've seen it more times than I can count. Where this new friend will seem to have your best interests at heart. Then a year later they have convinced you to cheat on your husband and divorce him. Even though he might be a good man. Why? Because they know they are doomed and they want you to be doomed too. They just want to watch your relationship go up in smoke. Knowing the fact that they were the puppet master that made it happen. Well, the same rules apply for these kids in gangs and other bad activities. The psychopath of the group takes great joy into taking a wannabe tough guy or girl. But that isn't a psychopath. And getting them to doom their life by bringing them along to do something that will get them into trouble for life. I think that kid that was the driver woke up that day knowing what he was going to do. And maybe the passenger did too. But maybe not. Maybe he thought they were going to steal some cars. Which is bad enough. In which he should be punished. But, and I'm just thinking out aloud here. Maybe when they were stealing the cars, Mr. Tattoo Face said, "I'm going to start hitting people." And the passenger was stuck in his mind and felt like he couldn't back out. Again. Not excusing what he did. Evil to the core. Evil to the core. I'm just saying this because if you have kids. And we are living in a terrible reality these days. Please talk to them. Please do. Because you don't want them hanging out with people that want to literally pull them to hell with them. Because some of these jokers know exactly where they are going. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Tattoo Face knew after he started hitting people it would be a matter of time before they were caught, regardless if the victim survived or not. But the truth is Mr. Tattoo Face likely didn't care one bit. Because again, he is likely where he believed he would end up at. However, if he was going to end up in such a place, he didn't want to end up there alone. Because misery loves company. If you can. See if you can watch the little clip of these two in court. And tell me you don't notice the big difference in how they look in their face. And you see. I just wanted to mention this. Because I don't think any of you will end up in a stolen Hyundai with a driver with a tattoo on his face. But you still want to be careful of the person you meet at work that wants to be your friend. Or the person at the gym or the coffee shop. Making friends is okay. But you have to have boundaries and you cannot be afraid to say no. And if someone wants to make fun of you for being a square or whatever because you don't cheat on your husband or wife, well, they just told you who they are. But please understand, they might not right away say that's what they want for you to do. They will make sure you completely see them as awesome before they start putting you into bad situations that could wreck your life. So please, be careful who you call friend. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.